Once an organisation starts down this path, it's very interesting how innovative people can become.
Brian, what prompted Colonial First State to take sustainable action?
It's been our view that organisations like ourselves probably have not focused enough on the areas of power, water and materials and how we use them. So we embarked upon a program a few years ago to really review what we do in those areas to reduce the use and so reduce the waste of those materials.
So what measures have Colonial First State put in place to move towards a more sustainable workplace?
Some classic examples would be in relation to power generation. We actually looked at our offices and how much lighting did we use in each office. And when did the lights come on in the morning, when did they turn off of an afternoon or an evening? And indeed we saved about 25% of our electricity usage just by looking at reconfiguring the lights, very, very simply. We're also saving money as a result of that as well. We estimate that we've saved enough electricity each year to be about the equivalent of around 70 Australian households. We looked at the bathrooms and the kitchens, that's where you use water in an office environment, and we've saved substantial amounts of water through putting dual flush toilets in, waterless urinals in the men's, aerated taps, etc. And so we've then taken those tangible examples, but we want to measure that. So we put objective measures in place around how much electricity we use, how much water we're using, how much materials we're using. And those measures are then fed into KPIs for people so that they can be held accountable for a reduction in those areas. In relation to paper, the actual production of the paper creates a lot of use of water as well as cutting down of trees, etc. So the amount of water we estimate just from the paper reduction is about 6 million litres of water we save by not having the amount of paper we used to use. And it also works out at around about the equivalent of about 1,800 trees, which is kept in the ground just by us not using as much paper as we've used in the past.
And just imagine if all the similar sized companies in Australia were doing what you're doing.
That's exactly right. And this is the sort of thing, it's part of our culture, if you like, to embark upon these measures. Once you start on these measures, it becomes self-fulfilling, because there's lots of innovation that the staff look at and they come up with great ideas, and we keep reducing as we go along.
So has that involved a big cultural change in the organisation, do you think?
We've embarked upon a cultural change generally, okay? So it's been going for a few years now and we're well into it. But it's interesting that when you survey our people, over 80% of our people are very, very interested and very keen for us to do this sort of thing. And to me, it's a win-win for the organisation, because it becomes part or enhances the cultural fabric of the organisation. It seems that there's no end to the new ideas that our people are coming up with. And we had a great idea last year which staggered me when we saw how much of a great result we got from it. But a lot of offices, when people move from one floor to another or from one building to another, it's taken for granted that the materials that are left behind somehow magically end up in the new office. But unfortunately they don't in many instances. And it staggered us to understand that a lot of this stuff gets thrown out. So what we've done is that whenever people move from one desk to another or one office to another and building, etc., we have a team of people that go in with bins and they look for the stationery, for the office supplies that would otherwise be left behind, pick them up, put them into what we call a restore room. And so now we've got this, what is effectively free stationery and supplies that people can come in and use in the office. And that saved a lot of money. For example, when we first did it last year, we estimated we saved $40,000 worth of stock from one move alone.
It's not just a feel-good exercise, is it? I mean, it makes sense to the bottom line.
Not at all. And this is an area that I keep emphasising. There are three wins in all of this. Okay, first of all, it's a win for the community and the environment. Okay. Secondly, it's a win for our people because they really want to be involved in these programs. And thirdly, it's a win for the shareholder because we've saved per annum over $4 million as a result of all of these programs we've put in place.